Welcome to the HVAC Financial Freedom Podcast, a show to help you create more revenue, profit, and freedom in your life. Now your host, John Victoria.
Hello and welcome everyone to the HVAC Financial Freedom Podcast. My name is John Victoria, your host, and we are with the lead ninja himself, Mr. Gene Slade. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, big dog. Good to finally be here.
100%. And yeah, I'm excited because we are just catching you. You just arrived back from Austin, Texas. You were at the Profit Rocket event, which looked amazing. Everyone has a great time learning. Like, I guess to kick us off, like, how was it? How was the experience and the energy out there?
Man, you know, I've been to a lot of events, and this one, I hate to say it, Victor. I hate to say it, but this one was absolutely first class, right? Good information, right? I think the highlight for me, from a speaker perspective, would have been Michelle Van Beek. And she was talking about processes inside of the office and accounting and financials and stuff like that. I think I took more notes on that topic than anything else. And Victor was funny. He was up on one of the panels, and everybody's introducing themselves. And then right out of Victor's mouth, when it's his turn, he's like, "Hi, I'm Victor, and I like to party." But listen, man, I tell you, the speaking, all that stuff, that was good. But I will tell you, the networking side of it that he put together was phenomenal. He rented out the entire outdoor area, like up on the 7th floor. And they had grills there with big tomahawks and fillets. And like, he spared no expense. Like I was, normally you go to these events, right? And you get cheap hotel food, right?
Yes, yep.
That's not right. How this was. And I just want to thank Victor and the Profit Rocket team for having me out. You know, he and I, we've had our differences in the past, as a lot of people know. And we even didn't talk for about a year. But 8 months, a year ago or so, we kind of messaged each other, and we've been talking a little bit. And when I saw that this event was going off as well as it was, I reached out and congratulated him. And I said, "Listen, man, if there's anything I can do for you, let me know." He said, "Well, you could come out and you could speak at the event." And I was like, "You really sure you want to do that?" And he was like, "Oh, bygones are bygones." And I said, "Well, it'll probably be good for marketing anyway." So I put together a marketing post, and we did a podcast together. And would you believe it? The organic post to like a couple hours before the show got like 4 times the traffic.
Yeah, I was seeing all the comments, man.
If you didn't catch the post, I was faking like we were actually going to do like a UFC thing in Orlando. And that, anyhow, that didn't happen. But we did like shoot a little 10-second clip of him and I like getting into it for everybody. So, well, Thaddeus, I think, was there and wanted to do that. No, awesome event. I don't know if he's going to hold it again, but if he does and you're watching this, go out. It was definitely worth the time. Definitely worth the time.
That's awesome, Gene. And I missed it this year, but I went last year in Vegas, and same world-class experience, world-class networking. It was just, you're just brushing shoulders like, "Oh my God, you're that guy." It's amazing. And I also spoke to a lot of the attendees from this year as well. Just been having some conversations, texting folks, and just amazing experience. So, big kudos to the Profit Rocket team. Big kudos to Victor. And I'm glad you guys reconciled as well. It's, for the industry, right? For the betterment of the industry. Yeah. And so I love that.
Well, I feel bad. I feel like, and I hope this doesn't sound like egotistical or something, but like, we had some shared clients, and I feel like we kind of split the industry a little bit when we had our fight. And so really it was more to bring people together and have unity inside of our communities than anything else. So, you got to set your ego aside sometimes. We all get hot-headed, but I think that one of the measures of a man is, can he admit, hey, maybe I took that a little bit too far, and just, it's not hard to say I'm sorry. It's not hard to root for the other guy. There's so much out there for all of us, right? There's no lack of money or clients or anything in the world, only a lack of thinking, right? We live in an abundant world.
I love that. Yeah, it's I made a post on this a while back, but it's the pie is big enough without having to be cutthroat. so,
Yeah.
so I love what you guys are doing, and it's going to positively impact so many contractors because of it.
Well, and there's also, there's also so much clean money out there that you don't have to lie, cheat, and steal, right? So much clean money. Everything that we have to do, everything we do in our business, we try to keep it as moral, ethical, and legal as possible, right? It's got to have those three elements, or we don't want a part of it.
100%. Yeah, integrity is top value. But awesome. So I'm glad you had the great experience. Like, I imagine there's an energy rush from having been there, and the energy is being around such amazing people. And I guess that's a nice transition because we're moving into the shoulder season, right? This is when things begin to slow down. So from your end, like, what are you seeing with the contractors you're working with, and how should folks begin to prepare themselves as we're moving to this time of the year?
Well, it's funny that you asked that question. How should we prepare ourselves as we're moving into this time of year? The real answer to that is you should have been preparing for this 3-4 months ago. Right? Like, being proactive. What we tend to do as contractors, and I was similar when I was a contractor, but I actually had a lead source that was very, very consistent. But typically we wait until the house is on fire to, see whether or not we've got a water hose. And unfortunately, you can get behind the 8 ball real quick, and it can put people out of business. I know a lot of contractors out there that are suffering. I have heard from a lot of them that the lead flows are down 30-40%. So what in the heck do you do, right? I mean, if you don't have an outbounding person or an outbounding team, you're going to find yourself in a real struggle, because, like, Google's not working for anybody right now, because nobody's searching for my air conditioner needs replaced, or my furnace needs to be replaced, or it's broken, with these mild temperatures, especially in the HVAC world. I deal with plumbers, electricians too, right? But I see it crushing some people right now.
And I like what you said about having that proactive, strategic mindset that, you can't solve the problem right now. Like, you should have been solving this problem 3, 6, 12 months ago. And it's like planning for that, maybe the staffing, or thinking about the marketing. You talked about outbounding. So could you dive a little bit deeper into that and how
Sure.
you're seeing folks are?
So with my first HVAC company, all of the marketing that we did was for tune-ups. And we made it a point year round to make sure that we were scheduled out at least 30 days, right? Now, a lot of you are not going to be able to do that right now, but could we potentially get your guys scheduled out for 3 days on just tune-ups? And then the other challenge that we have is that technicians and businesses, they tend to not be so great at selling the memberships, right? The service agreements, the club memberships. And guys, if you're not good at selling the club members, or you don't have a bunch of club members, why can't you just reach out to your existing client base and just offer them a tune-up? I mean, even if it was a free tune-up, that's still going to be cheaper than going out and spending $150, $200, $250 on a lead from one of the ad sources, right? You've got this existing client base that you haven't nurtured, right? It's time to start doing that. It's time to reach out to them and let them know that it's time to clean their HVAC system. And I've had contractors that I've been talking to over the last couple of days, and I hate to date the show, right? We're in early October, but I had a brain fart for just a minute. No, I know what it was. I was talking to a contractor yesterday, and he's like, it's not really time to do furnace tune-ups yet, otherwise we'd be booking them. I'm like, what do you mean it's not time? Like, these maintenance agreements are scheduled service, right? Not demand service. And they're supposed to help you guys fill those times like this, like that you call a shoulder season. There really, truly shouldn't be a shoulder season. We should have planned for this. So, but give those people a call. Like, pick up the phone right now. It can be a simple script. It can be as simple as, hi, this is Gene with ABC Heating and Cooling. we're your HVAC company. We were out last, whatever, it looks like it's time for your system to be cleaned before we get into the cold of winter, right? Would Tuesday of this week or Thursday of this week be better for you, right? Just open it up to an alternative choice close. They're already your customer, or you're going to find out if they're your customer as soon as you call them, right? But just make the telephone. It's still one of the most powerful devices, like, for your marketing. Just reach out. And unfortunately, without the hot or the cold, that's what you're left with. And then hopefully you've got a sales process that's good enough to do a full inspection, to establish a need for some of the stuff that they're going to need in the near future, and to close.
Got it. Okay.
Unfortunately, though, a lot of them don't have a system, and they think that maintenance appointments are the worst appointments. But the fact of the matter is that tune-ups are the best type of appointment that somebody could go on.
Love that. So my takeaways from what you just said is, number one, to solve the problem in the first place, you need to proactively have done something. But second, if you're in the hole already, pick up the phone, call up your current database. That's going to be your easiest, lowest hanging fruit to convert some potential, pre-existing customers into purchasing something else. And then to have a sales process that could then maybe upsell them to other things in the future.
You're going to have to, because it's expensive to roll a truck out to somebody's house. I mean, you're going to be in it $150, $200 just by the time you get there. So if you're not converting, if you're not getting them happily involved with surge protection or indoor air quality products, or sealing up their ductwork, or possibly replacing a duct system, like, there's all of this other stuff that we forget about in these times. Like in 2005, I'm going to date myself a little bit, right? 2005, I remember selling $1 million in ductwork in 6 months, right? Nobody sells ductwork. Nobody really knows much about it. These are other things that we could be looking at right now while we've got time. And think about it. Isn't now the best time of year for you to be doing maybe duct systems in attics? Or, the conditions are perfect. They're really perfect, but you just got to get out in front of the client. And John, you and I know there's also another solution that we people don't know about yet, but we'll probably drop that here on the show.
Yes, sir. It's coming up. That's a teaser to stay on a little bit longer, everyone. Now here's the question for you. I got this statement from someone I had a quick dinner with. He was saying to me his experience in HVAC. He used to work for a company, and if he heard what you said, he would think something along the lines of, man, well, I don't want to go into a home. Like, they only invited me to do this one thing. I don't want to upsell them. I think there's something moralistic where he's like opposed to it. And so I'm wondering, like, how would you coach a client like that to be more open to, hey, like, it's not a bad thing to see how you can deliver value in other ways. Like, how would you coach him in that situation?
I think the first thing I'd ask him, John, is there a good reason other than money for everybody to own a HEPA filter? Like, is there a good reason other than money? Like, if all this stuff was free, should everybody have it, and why? Right? So so why? It's going to extend the life of the heating and air conditioning system by keeping it clean. Number two, it's going to help people with respiratory problems. Did you know that 1 in 4 people in the world have got zero ability in their body to fight mold? That they actually lack the marking system for the white blood cells to come in and destroy it. So they're massively exposed. So if 1 in 4 people have got zero ability to fight this mold, and when you breathe it in, it actually enters your lungs and your bloodstream through your lungs. And if there's, how many people are there in an average home in the United States, John?
I guess like 4 to 6 around there.
Yeah, it's about 4. So if there are 4 people in every home, and 1 in 4 people,
wow, yeah,
have got no ability. If you go out there and you don't open your mouth, are you doing something to them or for them? If your son or your daughter or your mother had this condition, had breathing problems, had one of the hundreds of different side effects that come from breathing this stuff in, and I came out to your house and I had a solution that would help her to live or him to live a better life, and I didn't bring that up, am I serving them at the highest level? Right? So you got, if you really care about people, you'll have the courage to stick your neck out and then potentially think that you're trying to sell them something. But if at the beginning of the call, you let them know, look, I'm here to do a tune-up on your heating and air conditioning system. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go through your system with a fine-tooth comb. And at the end, I'll have a report for you. Now, should I find any deficiencies, and I'm not saying that I will, would you like me to share them with you? Like, they're giving you, if you ask that question up front, they're going to give you permission to do that. And before you share those findings with them, you come back and you say, hey, do you remember earlier when you said that if I found any deficiencies that you wanted me to share them with you? Yeah, I remember that, Gene. Do you still want me to share them with you? Yes. Right? Now you've been given permission twice. If they say no, then fine. You don't have to. But I've had people that said no. And when I came back to them with my findings, I said, now, do you remember earlier when you said that if I found any deficiencies, you did not want me to share them with you? And they went, yeah. Do you still not want me to share them with you? Right? And most of the time it just flips them, right? They're like, go ahead. And they end up turning into a buyer. But you've got to come from a place of love, y'all. Like, you have to come from a place of doing something for somebody. I'm willing to stick my neck out and possibly have a customer get upset with me or call me a name or accuse me of trying to sell them something in order to enrich and better their life. It's worth it. Like, but you've got to really start caring about your clients. And sometimes it's hard to do that when you're constantly at battle with them because you don't have a proven process to get them happily involved with this stuff. You don't know what you don't know, right? Which is where we at Lead Ninja come in. Teach those processes.
I love that. And
that's how I would handle that. That's how I would coach that person.
And it's beautiful, right? It's nothing happening externally. It's like, what's in between these two little suckers right here? It's like,
yeah,
oh, I have these beliefs about this is the situation. And it's really it sounds like a reframe of like, I'm doing it for them. Like their family, like statistically 1 out of 4 of them could really need this, right?
Yes.
For like to live a good life.
Yeah. And you were talking about reframing, right? What's happening there psychologically is this person is making a prediction about something that could happen. It's a story that they're making up in their mind. They're seeing a movie. They're projecting what could happen into the future, right? And in some cases, they're manifesting it, right? So rather than think about what could go wrong, maybe think about what could go right. Think about the gratitude that could be given to you for actually having an impact on another human's life. And John, I don't know about you, but whenever I get somebody involved in something, I'm at a house and they buy something from me, they always thank me before I leave. They'll give me $30,000 and thank me because I'm actually doing something for them. And you guys may have heard this before, but people don't care what you know until they know that you care about them. Once they know that you care about them, this is not a sales situation anymore. It's somebody coming in and helping somebody who's got a problem. So if you can get that, in your heart and get that in your brain, it'll make a difference for you guys.
I love that. That's an amazing thing. I think it'll bleed over more into just, I mean, of course, this is like expanding the services, but I feel like this sort of attitude when spread across the company, like it's just going to lead to even better customer service.
I got chills right now, man. Like I'm really so passionate about that. I really am. We're in a people business, and I didn't really begin to have true success in my career until my purpose really shifted to be about human beings, and specifically about the people of this industry, the technicians who are running 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week that don't have any time with their families. Like I want to help those guys to work less, to make more money, and to get home for dinner on time. I mean, how many times have you guys missed dinner with your families or tucking your kids in because you're out serving somebody else. I don't know if you know this, but if you increase your value to the company, you increase your production, the company will give you certain considerations for that. Like the more that you produce for them, the more leniency and flexibility they tend to give you. And John, like, I can't tell you how many people I've seen come into our programs and they don't work weekends anymore. The boss actually gives them control of their schedule because they're putting $5 or $6 or $7 million a year in the hopper, right? So please remember that, guys. The better you get at this, the more you get control of your time. So if you don't have the time that you want right now, increase your communication skills. You're only ever going to be worth about 40, 50 bucks an hour with these hands, okay? But if you use this tongue and this brain, make as much money as you ever wanted. And making money is not bad, guys. Money allows you to help more people, all right? Without it, it's really damn hard to help. If I don't got the 2 cents in my pocket, you come up and you want a cheeseburger, we're screwed, right?
Love that. That's amazing. And it's a great I love how you touched into your why of like why you're doing this in the first place. It's I can feel it off of you. And so I love it. You were giving me goosebumps as you're saying that. And so absolutely amazing.
It makes me want to cry, man. It really, truly does. I'm sad. I'm sad for a lot of the guys that are in this industry that are stuck behind the wheel and they're going to die in that truck, right? This business is tough on families. And man, the way out is to spend that time behind your windshield, not listening to Morgan Wallen or not listening to, I know some of you guys listen to Britney Spears, right? But like spend that time like growing, spend that time training. Like in 1 year, in 1 hour a day, you guys can get the equivalent of an associate's degree behind your windshield, right? We call it Drive Time University. So it's one of the most wasted opportunities that I see technicians, I see them wasting it. And the ones that don't waste it, the ones that focus while they're there and focus on increasing their communication skills, they go to the moon. I just had one guy who literally closed $1,050,000 in sales in 1 month.
Wow.
Like it used to be $1 million was a great number for a year. Right now, we're looking at hitting that on a monthly basis. So I don't know how I got on that, man. Sometimes my brain goes left.
No, I'd love to dig into that a little bit later. But yeah, this idea of maximizing the time that you're spending anyways. I've heard it called double time. So it's like if you're doing chores or if you're driving. I mean, you can just plug in an audio, like you'd be listening to a podcast or listen to some video training and double time, like you are doing the thing you need to do, but you're also growing personally and professionally as well.
John, I got to take my own advice too, right? This was advice that was given to me years ago. I had a mentor and I remember I went into a slump. This is when I was in Michigan and I just felt like I couldn't close a door, right? And so I called him up and I'm like, man, I don't know what it is. I was doing great last month. And then this week, I just can't seem to close a freaking door. And he said, what are you listening to while you drive around? And I went, oh, crap. I got to go. Bye. I literally hung up on him. And I went over to, at that time, Books A Million and bought myself like 4 CDs at the time, right? Dating it again. But 4 CDs, like The Millionaire Next Door, one of the Robert Kiyosaki ones, one of the Susie Orman ones. Like I was just like, let's get back into the right mindset because look, we have 30,000 thoughts a day, right? And like 90% of them are negative. Like we're wired negative. So if we can get that positivity in, man, it'll make all the world a difference.
Love it. And I guess just recommendations, top 3 audiobooks or things or something that someone could be listening to as they're wanting to grow themselves and they're driving or doing chores.
Oh, man. So I think that my favorite in the last couple of years has been Relentless by Timothy Grover. I love to hear the stories of the basketball players and stuff like that. So because of the discipline that it requires, it really, really relates close to business. So I love that book. For people who are just really getting into reading and listening, like I like to listen as opposed to read, but it doesn't mean that I don't read because I need to improve that skill. But Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a classic, an absolute classic. And then a third one. Now, I don't know if you can even find this anymore, but like my wife bought it for me on cassette because it was one of my very first ones that changed my life. This one by Zig Ziglar is called See You at the Top. No, yeah, See You at the Top. Sell Your Way at the Top. I don't know, but it was like 8 cassettes.
Going at the top.
Yeah. And gosh, I'm really sorry that I'm drawing a blank on it, but this was the book that I was listening to in 2004, 2005 that brought to my awareness that I actually had a really poor self-image. And I never knew it, right? But I had an extremely poor self-image because of everything that had happened in my life up to that. Like, it shapes you and the way that you think. But just being able to see that I had a poor self-image made all the difference in the world. Now that you know that something is not the way that you want it to be, now you have the opportunity to change it. And that series, I'm pretty sure it's called See You at the Top. I know you can buy it.
Quick, I Google searched it. It's See You at the Top.
Yeah, from back in the day, I had an old mentor that had lent me those cassettes, and I listened to them on one of those little recorders that used to set on a table that would pop up and you stick the cassette in, right?
Yeah.
I literally was driving around in my Ford Ranger like this, you know, from call to call. You guys bitch and moan about, well, there's no CD player in my truck. I don't want to hear any excuses.
Making it work.
I put CD players in my company trucks, and no, I didn't ask the boss to do it either.
Oh my gosh. I'm imagining right now. You got it right next to your head.
And damn near in tears too, because I'm like, you know, I have a really shitty self-image. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I would say those are 3 really, really good ones.
Got it. Okay, so Relentless, See You at the Top, and then the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Man.
He's a great storyteller. And so is Timothy Grover. And of course, Zig. I mean, when
he's
you really
the man.
start to look at it, have you ever thought about that a good salesperson is a good storyteller? If you want to become better at sales, one of the things, especially for young dads, that I always recommend is read to your child. Read to your child, because when you're reading to a 2 or 3-year-old, it's different than if you're reading to an adult, right? You add the extra drama and the extra tone and inflection. Like, practicing that with your kids can make a big difference in how you're able to come across to a customer. They say it's not what you said, right? It's how you said it, right? And the way that you say it makes it mean something different. Like Zig. Can we do an example of how Zig used to illustrate this?
Let's do it.
So Zig used to say, he used this sentence, I didn't say he beat his wife, right? In order to show how just emphasizing one word will change the entire meaning of the sentence, right? So he would go like this. He'd go, I didn't say he beat his wife. 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 Right? So I emphasize one word, it changes the entire meaning of the sentence.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And so that's why it's so important in our sales training classes. Like, once you've got the memorization stuff down, the memorization is the lowest level of learning.
Yes.
Bar none. And people say I'm not good at memorizing, but you can sing along to Morgan Wallen, right? So you actually are good at memorizing the things that are important to you, right? And you make time for the things that are important to you. I'm starting to get left again. I forgot why I was going on that.
It was you're a good storyteller
right?
Oh yeah.
So it's important for us to, after we memorize, work on the delivery of your presentation, right? Figure out which words need to be emphasized. Figure out where to pause. Figure out where not to pause, right? Because the way that you deliver something is what shapes the meaning in the client's head. So it's not enough just to memorize somebody else's speech or memorize what somebody else says that is getting massive results. You got to say it the way they say it too, right? So another little side nugget.
Yes, and it's I think it's related to what you mentioned earlier, where it's first it's the mindset you're coming into it, and then that frame of the mindset then contains within it these smaller nonverbals. But it's like the context is we really care about the customer and why we're doing it, and this is why we need to do it this way. So we're communicating that message to that client,
and they can feel it, right?
Yes.
When you really truly do care about them, they can feel it. And guys, if you're getting a lot of resistance right now, step back and take a look at how much do you actually care about that client that you're going out to see. I mean, you don't know them, right? So is it your opinion that you shouldn't care? I mean, this is your community. I don't want to make anybody feel bad about that. It's something that you can grow, is what I'm going to tell you. And the younger you are, in my experience, the younger I was, the less I really truly did care about people, and I cared more about myself. And so when I realized that, so I'm going to have to start working on this. I'm going to have to start really consciously focusing on trying to show love. You know what I mean? So I know that sounds sappy and everything, but that's really some of the keys to why I'm where I'm at today. Not where I want to be yet, right? But you really, really got to find a way to start caring about people.
100%. I love that. And I guess now to I want to transition because there's something we mentioned earlier around this new thing that's coming out that could really change the game for this quote unquote shoulder season. So I know I don't want to give any hints. So I wanted to open up to you. Like, could you give us some context? It's exciting. Like, this is bleeding edge sort of stuff that you just revealed last week at Profit Rocket.
Again, bro. Like, I'm all chilled up over here. So I've seen certain problems inside of our space, the skilled trade space and the communication side with the client and the shoulder seasons and all this. And for years, I wanted to create things that could solve those problems, but I'm not a computer engineer, right? I'm a human engineer. And so I couldn't see how to make it happen. But specifically with what you're talking about, the shoulder season and the outbound calling and the scheduling of all that stuff, there's something that is new, cutting edge, revolutionary, and it's been around for a couple of months, but it's been kept quiet. And at the Profit Rocket, I went ahead and announced it, and it's called Lead Ninja AI. And I know that we've been hearing about all this AI stuff, but this is a conversational AI, right? It is totally next level. And so essentially, we've got an AI, and artificial intelligence, that calls up our clients now and books maintenance appointments. All right. And the most amazing thing is that we can load like 500 telephone calls of successful interactions between a CSR and a client, and it will learn what has worked the best. And it can also have PDF drop-ins for what we know works, right? And so we're actually building all of this stuff right now. It's here, it's working already. It's supposedly, right, based on our studies, it's twice the conversion rate of the best sales teams that we've been able to find. And it's 1/5 of the cost of an outbound agent. So in essence, it's 10 times more effective or cheaper, if you will. And the most incredible thing is that it doesn't show up late for work. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't have baby mama drama, right? Like it doesn't have to be replaced. It doesn't get angry when a client gets angry at it. And it sounds real. Like only about 20% of the people that I've talked to so far have been able to tell that it was an artificial intelligence.
Wow.
Which is insane to me, right? So we are using it for, here's like, there's so many cool things about it, but you know, if I've got you or me sitting at a desk calling customers, that's one of us, right?
Yes.
I can call one person at a time, or I can call 100,000 people all at the same time. We can do today with this technology what a sales team of 20, it would have taken them a month to do. We can do that now in seconds.
Wow.
Or minutes. Like you're talking about scaling a sales force now without having to go through and hire people and have all those challenges. Now it's a double-edged sword, right? Because some people are out there going, well, this is going to take away certain people's jobs, right? Well, that happens all the time in this world. And you can sit back and you can complain about it and be angry about it, or you can embrace what has come. Because what I'm seeing, sure, it might eliminate a position or two in the front office, but it's going to create those positions out in the field, because not only are we using it for booking an outbound telephone call, but we're programming it to take inbound telephone calls. We're also programming it to do follow-up sales. It can follow up with our scripting and figure out if there was something unclear and that was why the client didn't buy, or if it was a price or affordability issue. And then we can send them the financing paperwork like right there while we're on the phone with them, and close the deal right now and schedule the install or schedule the work. Like, so, and follow-up is an area that you probably know salespeople suck at, right? Especially in our industry, because we're constantly used to getting force-fed leads, right? There's almost always all the leads that you want until there ain't, and then you don't know what to do. And we were talking about this morning on my mastermind. If you ever want to own your own business, you better start learning how to get your own clients right now. Like, if you get a client this morning and you don't have one for the afternoon, get your walking shoes on and go around and talk to the neighbors.
Yeah.
Like it's a no-brainer, but we get like almost, I don't know how to, what is it? I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It's like we have taken away people's abilities to hunt.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're constantly giving them things. You've heard, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, right?
Yeah.
We teach him how to fish. He don't come back and ask for more fish. You know what I mean?
Verbatim what Jesus said.
Exactly. I did that with my kids when they were younger, and I was like, Charles, if you give a man a fish, you eat for a day. If you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Now, what does that mean? It's one thing to say it, but you got to ask your kids, what does that mean, right? And he was able to pick it up, and it was an impactful lesson for him. But I feel like we've almost cut people's arms off and lamed them by just constantly feeding them these sales. A real sales professional, like an insurance type agent or something like that, they spend 5 years building a book of business to barely survive, right? But we're so fortunate. We've got these companies that are marketing leads for us, but when it slows down, you don't know what to do. If you ever want to own your own business, start knocking on some doors. And it can be as simple as, hey, I'm John with ABC Heating and Cooling. Wanted to let you know that we're in the neighborhood today. We're going to be working over at Miss Susie's house. If my guys, maybe you're on an install, if my guys, if they leave anything behind or they're too loud or anything like that, I just want you to have my card. Please give me a call. I'll get out here and take care of it right away. And by the way, if you need anything, I see that your AC is about the same age as your neighbors. If you need a tune-up or something like that, if you haven't had that done this year while we're in the neighborhood, I'd be happy to take care of it for you, right? So like you're there to do something for them, not to them. Stop thinking I'm going to offend somebody, and go out with a heart of service, and things will work out.
Love that.
Getting back to the AI, it's the most amazing thing I've seen, and most terrifying too, John. Like I lost sleep over this because, John, like I can see a world where it doesn't replace me, but it replaces some of the things that I do and does that even better. Like I'm looking into programming it to call technicians when they get in their truck and role play with them for 15 minutes.
Wow.
Like to do training on the way, because I can do that with 100,000 technicians all at the same time because of the technology, right? I'm looking at programming it to do drop calls for comfort advisors that like they need to speak with a manager. They can call in and speak to the AI and negotiate the price down a little bit or negotiate an exchange for a discount, right? Because we don't ever want to give somebody something for nothing, right? Because that devalues it. I usually say I can't give you something for nothing, but what would be of value to me is this, right? And if I can get that from the client, then maybe I'll offer them a discount. But I can see a bunch of uses. But again, first, outbound phone calls is what we're doing, and then we're going to split our time between follow-up and taking the inbound telephone call. And we can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in whatever volume we want. So totally game changer. This is going to be transformational for the HVAC, plumbing, and electrical spaces. And we have the licensing, so we're rolling it out for the trades.
That's amazing. And so my understanding is this is a souped up chat GPT. It can call people, you can train it. And I think the unique thing is that you have so much data on, what works with a phone call, so because it's really like, how do you train this AI? And so you have those success stories to impart upon it. And it's leading to, you said it was double the,
it's twice the conversions. Yep.
Wow.
Of a human being.
Wow.
Of some of the best sales teams out there.
That's insane.
Already. And it's just in its infancy. And look, it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. We get a glitch here and there, but the engineers are working as fast as they can as it's been rolled out. It's a phenomenal product. Anybody wants to talk about it, you probably just put like AI in the comments or the chat or something like that. And I don't know if you do this, but like if you guys are watching this live, could you give us a live like down in the comments? And if it's on a replay, could you like type replay? Like that way we know people are coming in. Like I think that'd be super cool. Would you guys do that for us? I'd appreciate
100%. It. Yeah, and we'll and actually since we're on this, how would someone get into contact with you? Let's say that they were interested, like what would be the best way? Would it be email, Facebook? Like how should they reach out?
John, people think I'm nuts, but I give my cell phone number away all over the internet. Like 239-848-6533 is the number. 239-848-6533. And I just ask that you text me, right? Text me right now while you're watching the video. And it is my real number. It is not a bot. It's not AI.
AI Gene.
I tend to respond so fast on follow-up most of the time that people actually they're like, yeah, this isn't Gene, this is a bot. And I'm like, no, bro, like seriously. And I'll even record my voice and they still think it's a damn bot. Like I'll shoot a video.
Guys, it's me. It's me.
That is my personal cell number. And so just text me and I'll help you with anything. I'm more than happy to help. Doesn't even mean that you'll get charged. Like there's several people that come to me on a monthly basis that like they're just not ready and they need to take advantage of the free stuff that we've put out there first, grow a little bit before they can really participate with us.
Awesome. And I think so we're closing on the hour in about 15 minutes, but what I'd love to close this out with is some mindset. So I know you talked briefly earlier about your self-image and how that's coming across. And then also you talked about mindset when coming to the home. If you're coaching someone right now who might be worried or concerned, these economic conditions, shoulder season, I didn't prepare. Like, how would you coach them to get into the right mindset to really succeed and thrive in this last quarter of the year?
So I'm the perfect person to ask about this. Because in 2008, that's when I actually started my business in like March of 2008. And then we all know what happened around September. Like everything came crashing down, and the banks had tightened up severely, like they're tightening up right now, right? And things were not looking good. And I was listening to talk radio on a regular basis. And one of my doctor friends, I went in to get an adjustment, a chiropractic adjustment, and he asked, we always had little conversations, and I had shared with him some worry because everybody's in a panic. And he said, Gene, you need to shut off talk radio. Like, shut it off entirely. It's not good for you. It's not good for your soul. You have to shut it off. Right. And that was the last day that I listened to talk radio, even though I was on talk radio as a talk radio host for many years after, but I never listened to it again. Right. Because business is never good or bad out there. Business is only good or bad between these two things right here, between your ears. And so my mindset shifted immediately. And I said, you know what? And this is what everybody really pay attention to this. This is important. I said to myself, look, if I'm thinking that way and I'm human, there's got to be a lot of other human business owners out there that are thinking the same way. And when that happens, people tend to get demotivated, right? And they start to skip steps. And I said, you know what? If everybody else is in that mindset and I can stay out of that mindset, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go take everybody's customers who's sitting back thinking that this is a bad time. And John, that's exactly what we did. We doubled from 2008 to 2009, 2009, 2010, 2010, 2011. We doubled year over year over year because I didn't have the broke mentality, the poor me thinking. I intentionally shifted it and began to say to myself over and over again, things are absolutely great out there. Buyers that see me have got the money to buy, like all of the positive affirmations that I could, because there's enough negativity out there without having a financial crisis in a country. You know what I mean? You add that to it, it could really affect you and take you out. So if I'm somebody like that in this economy and this winter that people say we're going into, I mean, it's clear we've been seeing it for over a year. The other thing is that it's important to get into community with other people that are thinking in that positive way, because everybody else will drag you down. So, like, as soon as you can and as quickly as you can, get involved with a group that will help you to increase your attitude and increase your economics. Okay. Iron sharpens iron. You've heard that, right? Iron sharpens iron. When you get sharp people around sharp people, everybody gets sharper and we lift each other up, which is one of the phenomenal things about our twice a week online coaching with the Lead Ninja Mastermind, right? I'm bringing guys together from all over the country, and they're, leaning on each other for support and on our staff for support, right? For their mind. Because if you keep this in check, everything else is going to go well. There's going to be fortunes that are made in this recession. Absolute fortunes will be made. Recessions are when all the money's made, right? It's when all of it's made. So double down on yourself right now. Invest in yourself. Double down on yourself and your communication skills, and you'll come out of it the other side way stronger instead of crushed like a lot of people are going to get. I'm sorry, but people are going to get crushed.
Love it. And this is what you just said reminds you of this concept of creating your own weather, right? The weather might be not conducive, but create your own internal weather, create your weather for your team. And it's
Grant Cardone calls it creating your own economy.
Creating your own economy. Exactly. It's like there's the stuff happening out there, but okay, it's good to know, but like locking it down, like really making sure between these two suckers right here, you're good, because you need to be good for your team as well.
Yeah.
And if you're not good, they're going to be struggling too.
That's why it's so important every single day. When you guys get behind that steering wheel, turn on something that is positive, that is uplifting. If you got to listen to music, and I don't know what everybody's leaning is from a faith perspective, but if I'm going to listen to music and I'm at work, it's going to be probably Christian music. It's going to be something like K-Love or something that is uplifting and doesn't make you feel like crap. When my wife and I drive around, we're always together, but sometimes she'll, put on rap and other things. And I love a good
kill
rap
this,
song.
Kill that.
Yeah, I really do love a good rap song. And as you can tell, I'm super gangster, right? But like after like 5 or 6 or 7 songs, I start to pay attention to the way that I'm feeling. And I start to feel this heaviness and this negativity, this evil, really. And I pay attention to the way that you feel right here in your gut, y'all. right?
Mm.
You've got a ganglion of nerves that all come back to here, right? Don't allow. You've got a ganglion of nerves. They all come back in here. That's why when you get bad news, something really, really bad, and you feel sick to your stomach, you could pass out, right? Pay attention to that gut feeling. Whenever you get a gut feeling that's negative, that is God's like message to you that your thinking is stinking, right? That what is going on between your ears right now, this is a warning sign. Your emotions are a result of your thoughts, right? And they're just a body sensation. But that body sensation allows you, it's like a trigger, it's like a flag, it's like a warning signal that what you're thinking is not good for you. So pay attention to that next time and intentionally shift your thoughts. I know it's tough. I know we all have crap going on. Everybody's got crap in their life, right? You got doo-doo in your life, John?
Yeah, plenty.
I got doo-doo
all over the walls.
Right? But intentionally shift that thinking, right? Think about your kids. Think about something that makes you exceedingly happy. Think about what you want, not what you got. Make sense?
Yeah.
So intentionally shift that focus and you'll be better off for it. But no man is an island, John. Like
yes.
we ask for help, not because we're weak, but because we want to remain strong. Les Brown said that. He said, so ask for help and don't stop until you get it. We're taught as men to shut off our feelings and everything, right? Don't ask for help. But man, sometimes the nicest thing you can do for somebody is to allow them to help you. Like you get something when I train you, right? But when I help you and it changes something or transforms something, I get the joy of knowing that I had a hand in that. And guys, I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars in my life. But nothing comes close to somebody calling you up and thanking you and saying, bro, I'll never be the same again. Like I'll never struggle the way that I used to struggle financially. I'll never make less than $250,000, $300,000 again the rest of my life. That kind of transformation is where the real joy comes in life, y'all. And you cannot put a price on it. I'm gonna get freaking choked up and cry again on you, John. Like there's nothing like it. So once you have seen some success, it's your duty, it's your obligation, it's your job to help retrain that into somebody else. And I will share with you guys, you don't know something until you've taught it. So if you think you're good, think you're a good salesperson, communicator, begin to teach other people and it will take you to a whole different plane.
Yep. Dude, I love it. Yeah, pouring into the next generation of folks coming up. And your impacts will outlast your lifetime. You know, that knowledge, it'll outlast you. And that'll be part of your legacy.
Well, and I'm not even thinking about legacy yet, right? But I'm getting there. Like as I get older, like they say about every 7 years, like your purposes and everything shift and change in your life, right? And when you really start to think about it, yeah, like about every 7 years, things have changed massively for me and my intentions and what's really important to me. So I think that I'll probably start thinking about legacy in the next couple of years, but it's not something I'm going to focus on intentionally. It's just something that I feel like is going to become more important to me. I'll tell you, last year didn't mean a damn thing to me. Nothing. But as I get older, yes, for sure. I'm interested in people not just completely forgetting about me. You know what I mean? Think about that, y'all. Think about like, you're gone, you're dust now, and nobody even remembers anything. What a crappy thing to not have left a mark on your community. Like, isn't that kind of like a disservice to the Creator? Disservice.
Yep.
Like you were put here for a reason. Like if you're not living into that purpose, it's kind of a diss. It's kind of like the middle finger to the big guy.
Yep.
I like to sit around and be lazy too, right?
Hey, we all do, man.
But at least think about it. I'm not saying that you have to achieve a certain measure of what you would call success, right? But just be mindful that you were put here for a reason and you're put here to serve. And there's something unique inside of you that you have to give other people. And it might take a while for that gestation period for that acorn to become an oak tree. But think about it.
Man, you get my feels too, man. Oh, man.
Bro, I'm having a good time.
Oh man. So now let's I had a good friend say this to me. He was on one of our past podcasts and talks about, we don't want this to be entertainment, we want this to be education. And really the gap is if people actually do something with this. And so if you were to share with everyone, like, you just listen to this podcast, we talked about AI, we talked about shoulder season, mindset, like, what would you say? Like, you need to do these 3 things upon leaving here, make that change and really grow your business and grow your life. Like, what would you say are those top 3 takeaways or actions?
No, I can't say that my mind won't be changed later as I think about this more, right? But top 3 things. I'm gonna be preaching to myself here too, John. So about 8-9 months ago, I started to take my physical fitness a little bit more seriously. As you get older, you're either going to be in pain from working out or be in pain from not working out. Right?
Yep.
So I've begun to take care of my body more. I've begun to get back into the gym. You wouldn't know it by looking at me. Like, my muscles aren't big, but I used to be a collegiate wrestler. And so
I used to wrestle too.
I was in Taekwondo. I was in boxing. Like, I have an extensive, like, combat. Like, I loved that. And I've been away from it and in the business world for so long that I kind of gave that up. And I looked in the mirror and I wasn't happy with myself. I can tell you, as my body has started to change, it's also affected my self-image, right? And the way that I think about myself is super important to my productivity and to my ability to give to my family. So number 1, I would say, get up in the morning or afterwards. I know it's tougher after work, but just get your body moving. Okay. You don't have to go so hard that you're sore the next day. Who's the guy, Terry something from America's Got Talent, the host. I don't know his last name, but Terry something.
Terry Crews?
You might be right. I was watching, but right about the time that I was starting to take this new journey of fitness, I was watching him give somebody some advice. He says, when you start to go back to the gym, if you go in and you go hard and you're super sore the next day, you're probably not going back for a few days. He said, just go in for a week and just touch the equipment. He said,
baby steps.
Just get used to going there. Just get used to the habit of going there, right? And so that was what I did. I just started walking half an hour a day. And it could have been on the treadmill. It could have been outside, depending on the time of year here in Florida, right? Like, it's hot. But I just started walking 30 minutes a day. Started doing, being more disciplined on my intermittent fasting. And boy, when you start seeing some results, you start feeling better about yourself. You start getting more energy. Like, when you accomplish that in the beginning of your day, like, everything after that is like gravy, man. You like, I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's the endorphins, but so that's number 1. Number 2, make sure that you are listening to something. We've already talked about this. Listen to positive stuff while you're in the car. Listen to something that is actually going to help you with your station in life. And even if you don't want to buy things, right? Maybe you're not a flashy person. I'm telling you, having money set aside, like, it matters. It matters. So I would absolutely make sure that you're listening to good stuff during the day. And then 3rd, get a good mentor. Get a good mentor. Okay. Whether you pay this mentor or you don't pay this mentor, find somebody who is where you want to be in a certain area of your life, right? You wouldn't want to take all of your advice from one human being, right? But if there's somebody that's making $100 million and they're willing to share with you how you can do something similar to that, listen to them and just do exactly what they say. Please stop trying to change it. Okay. Like, for instance, if Bill Gates walked into this room right now, John, you and me, he came up on a 3rd screen here and he says, Gene, I've been waiting to talk to you. I'm building Microsoft 3.0. And here's exactly how we're going to do it. And he drew it all out for us, like a little map in 2 to 3 minutes. would John or I at that point go, you know what, Bill? Maybe we should do it this way, right? Like, no, you'd be nuts to do that, right? So find a mentor who's done what you're wanting to do and just trust the process, right? Just do exactly what they say to do. Trust the process, rinse and repeat, right? So those I guess those would be the three things. And then bonus thing, have a relationship with God.
Yep.
I'm gonna cry again, man. God's got a funny way of bringing you back if you don't. So even if it's just 2 or 3 minutes a day, spend time praising him for what you have. Because life is short, y'all. Life is really, really short. And I can tell you my outlook has always been better when I had him in my life. And we're the ones that make that choice, right? So spend more time with your creator is what I would say as a bonus.
I love that. Man, you're these like 2-3 moments on this podcast, man.
Man, you know, I just love the people in my industry so much. I really do. And they've done so much for us. I could never repay it. And I hate to see people hurting. I really do. I do just about anything to help somebody who's hurting. Now, I'm not saying I want 1,000 people who are hurting to call me right now. 239-848-6533. But if I can impact one person today, man, it'll make me happy. Really, really happy.
Yeah. And you've already got one right here. Me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess this takes us to the end. So got your phone number 239-848-6533. Any last final words you want to share with them before we close out the podcast?
Well, maybe a plug if I could. I've got a sales training that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. If you're listening to this podcast a month or two from now, I probably have got another one coming up after that. But we do it a little bit different, John. I rent out these big homes, call them mansions, 16, 20, 30,000 square feet. And we literally live with our participants for 3 days.
Wow.
So we'll bring in 24 or so people into one of these places. They usually have a huge theater room. So we'll teach in the theater from like 9 to 6, something like that. And then afterwards, we all stay together. Like we'll move from the theater over to another area of the house and we might have a couple of drinks. We'll have some food. But those conversations that happen afterwards are just as valuable as what happens in between. The other reason that we do that, John, is because like I've been to events over the years, and I know that like when you go to a town that you're not familiar with, and then you're in a class, and then everybody goes to their hotel rooms, and nobody's together. There's a temptation to get in trouble, right? To go out and do things that you shouldn't do, and we're about family at Lead Ninja. And so I try to keep everybody together, create an environment where nobody wants to leave or has to leave for anything. And so that event is coming up October 25th through the 29th of this month. So if you guys want to text me, or you can put like mansion down in the comments, whatever social platform you're on this, be happy to get you more information about that stuff. Absolutely 100% transformational for you and your team. And I've got a money back guarantee on that product. So if you come and you experience just the first day and you don't feel like it's worth your money already, like 10 times, I'll just give you your money back and you can leave. Never had it happen before, but I'm willing to put my money where my mouth's at on that. I think we've got like 8 spots left.
Okay, so, 8 spots left. Yeah, that was fun, man. Mansion
bro,
in
it's
and
a
out.
blast. Dude, there's an arcade in there. One of the places has got a bowling alley, lazy rivers in the backyard. It's like sound systems going crazy. Like it's just gorgeous. They got those Samsung frames on the wall all over this place. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks like a freaking picture, but it's a TV. Like really, really cool places. But the house is nice. And one of the other reasons we do that is because I want people to, like, I leave a letter on everybody's bed. Like I want them to start like envisioning owning something like that. I want to stretch people, stretch their imaginations. You know, we're told no, like I think something like I think it's like 40,000 times or something by the time we're 5 years old. It's no wonder people give up on their dreams, right? So I want to help to expand and stretch people's minds and thinking. But that's enough about that. Hit me out, text message if you want, and I'd be happy to help you guys with that.
Awesome, Gene. Well, Gene, thank you so much. This was amazing. I mean, there's tons of moments where I'm like leaning in or like also feeling it as well with purpose and legacy. And I want to say thank you for being so generous to come onto the podcast. And also the beginning as well, like bridging the connections as well, just to do it in service of the industry. So I want to say thank you. I'm excited for your legacy. I already know you're going to have a huge impact on so many people. And yeah, just really grateful to have you on.
I'm grateful to be here, bro. Thank you. No, thank me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for the stage. You're helping us to reach those other people, which I'm immensely grateful for. So thank you.
Thank you, Gene. And thank you as well for everyone listening. So this about wraps it up. Take care, everyone. And we will catch you on the next one. All right. Bye, everyone.